Hey everyone, Ben here and welcome back to the channel. After a little bit of a break, we are back on the RaceRoom Ranked servers for another race video. Today we're in the BMW Cup Car at Zolder and we've qualified pretty well. We're in the black liveried car there, centre of your screen, lining up in 5th place. If you do enjoy the video, please do remember to hit the like button, get subscribed to the channel so you don't miss any of the sim racing content we've got coming up. But for now, let's get down to the grid. 5 red lights then, and we're about to get underway. Really tight in qualifying here, so I think it is all to play for a podium spot, and we are underway. We've got a decent start, but so has pretty much everybody else around us. Really tricky first corner here at Zolder. Very, very wide entry, and look at that, we just get blocked off by the guy on the inside. That's Koenig, who manages to hold the position. I've got Volgas just down my right hand side here. You'll see it on the Helicourse map there, that we've got a car just about halfway alongside us, so we've got to give him space. On the right hand side here, coming along the sweeping right hander, he might have a little run into the slightly tighter right hander to come. We're right alongside each other now, but he thinks better of sticking it down the inside and he settles in behind us, and we hold 5th position off the start. It looks like Koki is leading the race in first, then Orban, Piringer, Koenig and ourselves. A little bit of a look from Silla behind us there in 6th position, who's taken Volgas for that spot. But it looks like now we've got a little bit of a space behind us and a little bit of a gap up ahead. We get late on the brakes. Got to bear in mind we've got cold tyres on this opening lap in the BMW Cup Car as we snake through the chicane for the first time and then into the second half of this fantastic lap at Zolder. It's such a good car and track combination, this. I'll say a little bit more about the BMW Cup Car when things settle down after this opening lap as we come into the hairpin for the first time. Get that nicely hooked up. But look at that, the race leader Cook is out. He's span it on the exit of the corner. We'll come back and take a bit of a look at that. He must have lost it under traction. That's going to promote us up into 4th. He is rejoined all the way back down in 12th position. So we've got a real chance here of forcing our way up onto the podium. Look at how close together the top 4 cars are running then. There's less than 3/4 of a second between all 4 of us as we cross the start finish line to finish lap 1. No rest up in the action though. We're going to get straight into lap 2 here, as again we're just trying to pick our turn-in point to get a decent exit from T1. The 2 cars up ahead of us, Koenig and Piringer, going side by side here, and then just about Piringer holds the position as Koenig has to slot in behind him. We're going to just try and pick our moment here to mount a bit of an attack ourselves on Koenig. I think we've got the better pace, but it's going to be all about getting past him into one of the few braking zones on this lap. But as I say that, Koenig is already looking ahead of him towards Piringer's position and trying to sneak past him himself. But we get a much better run through the first chicane, but we just get closed out as we try to get alongside the guy running in 3rd place there. Gonna have to just settle to follow him through the sweeping left hand and then make a move down the right hand side into the 2nd chicane. We get the apex, we're much quicker through the corner, and there is the move done and we're up into 3rd position. What an opening couple of laps this has been. We've made up 2 spots and we're now in the podium positions. Orban has opened out a bit of a lead, then Piringer, and then ourselves in 3rd position. Hook up the hairpin nicely again, just close off the inside line in case Koenig behind us fancied another look back, and hopefully we're going to be able to consolidate this position now and think about whether we can mount an attack for the top 2 positions. While we've got a little bit of breathing space though, let's take a look back at some of the action from those opening couple of laps. This is the opening turn then of lap 1. You'll see just how busy the track is. You've got cars 3-4 wide all the way through the field. There we are defending on our inside as we had a car pretty much all the way alongside us there through this opening set of turns, but we were able to hold it around the outside and onto the first of the main straights of the circuit here. And then just behind us you'll see there's a big collision between 2 or 3, maybe 4 cars there coming together. Let's take a closer look at that to just see what played out, and it's actually the 2 green liveried cars that come together. They then collect the black liveried car, and that is race over for at least one driver there. Let's take a little look at it from the guy in black, and yep, there's really nowhere for him to go. He doesn't make the initial contact, but as soon as that car is into a spin, There's really nowhere for him to go. That is a risky rejoin if ever I've seen one though. Fast forward then towards the end of the first lap. This is our race leader at the time, just getting it wrong on traction. Maybe clipped the inside curb on the hairpin too, which didn't help on cold tyres. He saves it out of the barriers. He is able to rejoin, but it's all the way down in 12th position as he's losing positions hand over fist. Then we fast forward onto the next lap. Here we go, coming through the chicane. We get a much better exit than the car up ahead of us, but he just closes off the space to the left hand side, so we're going to have to follow through in the sweeping left hander, but then make the move down into the second chicane. Nice and late on the brakes. We were pretty much past him before the apex, and that puts us up into third position. We're approaching half race distance then as we rejoin the live action, and the gaps really have come right the way down. We've extended the gap to 4th place, so there's a 3-second cushion now back to Vulgus, but this is a 3-way fight for the lead at the moment. Orban leading the way, then Puringer, then ourselves as we come across the start finish line to end another lap. Less than a second separates all three of us. As we wait for this battle to heat up a little bit further then, just a note on this car. I think this could be one of the most underrated cars in RaceRoom. I'll admit, when I first got behind the wheel of it on a ranked server, I didn't like it that much, but the more I've driven it, the more I've come to appreciate just how enjoyable and engaging a drive it provides. Perfect for a rookie server because it's relatively easy to get to grips with, but really there's a lot of pace you can try and get out of this car as you start pushing it and learning how to really drive it through corners. So really recommend everybody get a look at this combination this week. I'm going to stop there though, because look at the action up ahead of us as Puringer is desperately trying to find a way past Orban, but he can't do it. That slowed him up into the first chicane, so we're going to get a better run here. There's going to be half a chance, I think, of making a repeat move down the inside into the second chicane, but look at that, the drive up ahead covers it off nicely. There was nowhere for us to go down the inside, so we have to just settle back in behind and hope that there's going to be another opportunity to come before the end of this race. Just 7 minutes left then, we're over half race distance now as we're looking to try and press ahead and get into the top two here. We've dropped Vulgas by another half a second over the course of this lap alone, so the pace of the top three is very, very good at the moment. Koki, who made that mistake on lap 1, he's in 6th position. So he is making somewhat of a recovery, but we've got a 5.5 second gap back to him, so I'm hoping he's not going to become a factor in this race towards the end, because clearly he had pretty good pace to be leading this race on the opening lap. Coming then towards the end of another lap, and it looks like the top two have just pulled away slightly from us through that final sector, so clearly we're losing a little bit of speed through there as we come into T1 once again, and it's going to be a case of just when does Puringer force the issue, I think, because he's clearly looking very racy behind Orban. It looks like he has the pace over our current race leader, but it's all about, is he going to be able to get past? He's got a better exit there by the looks of things. He's looking to the left-hand side, is he? But then he's going to dart to the right-hand side, and is he going to try and squeeze his way past? He is. He's got half a car's width alongside, but there was a bit of contact. But that looks like he's got the move done there, is it? It's a drag race. We are tucking into the slipstream of Orban here as we come down into the first chicane. He realises he's got to tuck back in on the racing line, and that is the move done for a new race leader, Puringer. We're then going to be looking to attack Orban. Just how much pace does Puringer have? Is he going to pull away, and is this going to open us up with an opportunity to get up into second place ourselves? We come through the second chicane, nicely hook that up, then swing the car back through the right-hander that follows, and try and stick in the slipstream of the car up ahead. You'll notice we don't really shift down the gears all that much in this car. You can navigate some pretty slow corners in third gear. You do need to get down the gears into this hairpin though to then get on the gas nice and early. He looks a little bit ragged coming out of the corner, Orban up ahead, so maybe there's an opportunity brewing here if we can keep the pressure on. He must be frustrated at having lost the race lead. Can we find a way past on the next lap? We're on the brakes into the final corner, and look at that, he's lost it into the final corner of the lap, and we are through and up into second position. That was the mistake we were waiting for. It came earlier than I thought it was going to, but we were on hand to capitalise, and we're up into second place. Let's take a look back then at some of that action as the order of the pack has been shuffled somewhat over the last couple of laps. Here's the move for the race lead from Piringer on Orban then at the beginning of the last lap. You can see he gets a much better exit through that right-hander. That lines him up then to just try and stick one down the inside. It's right on the cusp of being too much, but it just about works. There's a little bit of contact, but I think that's fair racing really. Got his elbows out, got the move done, and we were just sniffing around for any opportunity to follow him through there, but it wasn't to be through this section of the lap. But we fast forward to the end of the lap, and here's where the opportunity did arise as Orban gets it wrong, holds the slide on the car very well, but unfortunately for him it cost him a position all the same. We've extended the gap back to Orban then with just 2 minutes left, but unfortunately Piringer has extended the gap up ahead as well, so it looks like it's going to be second place as we get into the braking zone here. But look at that up ahead, Piringer's made a mistake with just a lap and a half left. That's going to allow us to hopefully close back up onto his rear wing and make a bit of a race of this in the last lap. Yes, the gap is now down to a second. So if we're able to just creep up onto his rear wing, as he's going to have some dirty tyres having gone through the gravel trap there, we might be able to put a bit of pressure on into this last lap of the race, which is just about to start as we are in the third sector here of the lap. So a little bit of the pressure showing on our race leader as well there. Small mistake, but enough to bring us back into contention. It doesn't look like we're going to have any problems from behind. We've managed to break clear of Orban, so it is a two-way fight for the lead here. No doubt about it, Piringer's got the prime position. We're going to have to do all the work here to try and get up onto his rear wing, and realistically, with just a lap left now, hope that he makes another mistake of the kind of which we've just seen. If he does, we're going to be right in contention for the race win here, having started in 5th place. So already this is looking like a really good finish for us, but can we cap it with a race win? A very rare race win, it's worth saying, on RaceRoom. We've only won a couple of races on the ranked servers ever, so whenever this kind of opportunity arises, it gets me just a little bit excited. We're coming down the back straight then, heavy on the brakes, get it down, but keep it into 4th gear. That's, you'll have noticed all the way through this race, I've been holding it in 4th gear through there, and it's actually gained me quite a bit of time on the cars I've been racing with throughout this race. We are about a second and a half behind though as we come into the second chicane. This is where he's been a little bit tentative, and again, look at that, he's lost half a second to us through that set of corners. Clearly didn't want to overshoot it as he did the previous lap, but maybe overcompensated. So we have managed to close in ever so slightly. Unless he makes a mistake though into the next 2 turns, it's not going to be enough. We get onto the brakes again, then down into second gear, car rotated through the hairpin. The gap is pretty steady at 1.2, 1.3 seconds here, so it's going to come down to the last 2 corners of the lap. Will we see a repeat of the mistake that Orban made, or is he going to hold it together? We're onto the brakes into 3rd gear, through the left and the right. We are closing up ever so slightly, but not enough, and we're going to have to settle for a 2nd place, but a really, really enjoyable race and a very, very good finish. Love these cars, love this circuit. You've got to give it a go if you're on RaceRoom Ranked this week. There we are then, after a pretty breathless race. Here's the final classifications. We come home in 2nd place. A shout out to Jason Spooner, who brings it home in 6th. He's a fellow SCB community member. Great finish for him. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, leave a like, get subscribed to the channel, and we'll be back this week with more RaceRoom Ranked action, so do look out for that. I'll see you on the next one.